Alright, hello YouTube, it's Captain Nabs here once again. Welcome back. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope everyone had a great holiday season. And I am happy to be back again as well, filming more videos for you. I know you guys like them, and I'm happy to do it. I enjoy doing it as well. So I'm happy to make this the first video that I released this year other than one of my systems videos. So welcome to another Fly the Line video that I'm going to be doing here. The Christmas season was a little bit kind to me, so I have a couple things I wanted to show off. So originally I wanted to start this video off as just an immediate return flight right after the previous flight. However, that one was in the dark, and it was not going to show off one of my new upgrades to my sim that happened over the holiday season, which is Active Sky is now on my sim here. So up in the sky now, there's not too much happening out there. It's a pretty nice nice day actually, but up there in the sky there are some nice looking clouds, so I wanted to show you guys a little bit of what it can do as we fly a flight back to Ottawa. So we're going to fly a flight back to Toronto. So we're going to fly a flight from Ottawa to Toronto, flying the line still, but on the way I'm going to spend some time looking at the Active Sky program and giving you some of my basic first impressions. I've used it a couple times up till now, but I'm still pretty new at it, only a handful of flights, 2 or 3 flights at most, so I'm pretty excited to show it off to you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. So today we're going to be Porter Flight 224. We're going to depart Ottawa. It's let's see here, what time is it? It's
Grounds online.
Okay, YouTube, sorry about that. So while I was checking my video here to make sure it worked properly on my computer again here, unfortunately time went a little further than I expected. So our departure time today for Porter 224 is to depart at 1:05 p.m. So that's about 20 minutes from now. So I'm going to simulate this as a through flight. The aircraft is already, not a through flight, but a turnaround. So the aircraft's already been powered up by another crew, so we just have to take it over, go through our checks, but at least everything's already powered on. So we're just going to go through the normal checks very quickly here, and get our flight plan in there and get on our way, and then I'll start showing you some of the features of Active Sky once we get underway. So we're going to assume we've done the walk around. Captain comes back in, sits down, and starts going through his whole flow as always, getting everything, making sure all the switches are in the right positions, scrolling through the whole flight deck. One thing you may notice about this video, and I'm not sure how it's going to look yet, but I did actually get a nice new monitor for Christmas as well, so Santa was pretty good to me, to be honest. That's one thing that you might notice, is the resolution's a little better now than the old monitor I was running on, so I'm not sure how it's going to look, if it's going to be a noticeable difference or not, but it certainly is, for me, it's nice. It's quite a large 27 inches, which is not huge, but a big upgrade from where I was before. So I'm pretty happy with it as well. Alright, so just continue through the cabin, make sure the flight deck, make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. Start bringing some of this information up here. Let's see here. So the Ottawa 3 departure, Ottawa 4 I think it is now, is 4,000 feet. I don't even know what runway we're going to be using. We are flying online today, so I'm going to grab a VATSIM ATC here momentarily. Actually, why don't we just grab it now here? So 2115 is the frequency, so I'm just going to put it up here on number 1. And again, I hope the volume works on everything here. I had to reinstall Windows, and so I've had to do a lot of stuff. And I'm not sure if everything is working the way it should. I did a test flight the other night and it seemed to work, but why am I not getting any?
International information.
There we go.
Foxtrot, weather at 0200.
There we go.
Wind 230 at 3. Visibility 15. Sky clear. Temperature -1, dew point -13, altimeter 3035. Approach RNAV runway 25 and runway 32. Departure runway 25 and runway 32. Advise ATC you have information. Foxtrot. Auto International information. Foxtrot weather at 020.
The only thing I missed on that one was the altimeter, so we'll listen to it one more time through just to pick up the altimeter. And meantime,
Sky clear.
We'll start setting up the SID here.
11 dew point -13. Altimeter 3035.
There we go, 3035. Okay, so we'll get that set.
And runway 32. Departure, runway 25 and runway 32.
And
Advise
set it on the
ATC
standby as
weather
well.
Information, Foxtrot. Auto International, information,
Alright, now that's probably going to start annoying you guys, so I'm going to kill that pretty quick here. We'll get center up here. So Toronto, there's no service in Ottawa directly, but we have Toronto Center online, so we're going to use them today. Perfect. Alright. And we'll just check through all of that. All the switches are in the right positions. Control locks were not actually on for some reason. Weird. Put them back on for now. Alright, and everything looks pretty good, so we're going to hop right into the FMS. So we're doing a pretty standard route from Ottawa back to Toronto City. So we're going to start on the flight plan page here, and it is, what is it here? Here it is. It's APLA, so it's, first we put in, of course, the airport, Ottawa, APLA, can't spell today, APLA, and then what I'm going to do is fix is Lorca.
Airspace here yet, but just cross Oxfam at flight level 350, descending on the link 8 arrival.
Alright, I hope that volume setting is okay compared to the sound of the aircraft. I think it is, so we're going to leave where it is. So I've got the destination in there, and then what we do is, because the next fix is the far start of the arrival into the island, I don't even know the runway, but what we are going to do is put the star in there, the Alexu 7, and we're going to do it via, we're going to call it Lorca.
I have information Gulf already. Can you give me the transmode again, United 1067?
Alright, so then there's a no link there. We simply get rid of that. It's going to go from Aplov, Lorca, Alexu, and that's all the Alexu 7 arrival. We won't bother to put in the runway yet, but otherwise that's all set. We haven't got our Majestic control panel set up here yet, so we're going to try this. Let's see here. Our flight plan today proposes 51 people, so we're going to need to bump these up a little bit, so we'll move 15 people in there. We'll put 9 people there, and then we need to add 2 more people in another zone, so we'll put them here. And we got 1,000 pounds of cargo, perfect. Our fuel burn for today, so our block fuel is planned as being, let's see here, 4860.
Down to 11,000 and copy the pressure, United 1067.
Alright, so we're going to just round it up a little bit. We're going to say 5,000, and we're going to burn 1,900 on the way. Alright, so there we go. We'll send that data to our flight sim. It pauses the flight sim. We just unpause it again. Alright, so we're going to put in our ZFW there, which we got as 51,173. 51,173. And the fuel is done now, and looking at this, it's pretty easy. It's 5,000 pounds on the nose, so we're going to put 5,000 pounds. And we're going to put in, let's see, our alternate fuel today. We're just going to Toronto, so 383. It's not much. It's really not very accurate. We want a lot more fuel than that to get that trip done. It's only measuring the direct distance, which is only like 14 miles, so it's not very much. The final fuel is 1305. I'm not going to put any extra in there. We'll have to keep in mind that that's not really very much fuel. So there's our reserve, perfect. And on the next page, we just put in our time zone. Currently, we're in the -5 for Eastern Time. And there we go. Alright, and we're just going to cross-fill it here. So we're going to go menu, cross-fill. We're going to cross-fill the flight plan. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to cross-fill the fuel as well. And while I'm thinking about doing stuff for the FO, I did set him to FMS mode as well. And I'm going to, and I cross-filled his flight plan, and I'm going to get him to turn on the anti-skid on. And there we go. Alright, we are now ready for that. Alright. Pretty sure we're using runway 25 for departure here in Ottawa, even from Foxtrot. 51,000, zero fuel weight, 57,000. We should be, was it 57,000, I guess? 51, almost 52. So yeah, 57,000 pound numbers should work. So I'll pull out my takeoff reference cards here, and we'll just put in some takeoff speeds here for a flap 5 takeoff. We're going to do 128, 128, 128, 136, and 148. And I've already set the MDA, as you can see there, to 1380, which is 1,000 feet above the field elevation here. So that'll be my flap retraction altitude on the way out. There we go. And I believe we're just about ready to call for that clearance. So let's see if Toronto's around. See if this works here. Toronto Center, good evening. It's Porter, 244 for radio check.
Porter 224 cross center, Highway 25.
And I'm sorry, that's correct. Porter 224 on the ground in Ottawa. We're looking for the IFR clearance to Toronto City.
Porter 224, you're cleared to the Toronto City Centre Airport by the Ottawa 4 departure, westbound. Departure runway is 25, squawk 0534.
Okay, Porter 224 cleared to Toronto City via the Ottawa 4 departure. Flight plan route departing off 25, the squawk code 0534.
Porter 224, read back is correct. 5 for taxi.
We'll call you for taxi, Porter 224, thanks. 0534, there we go. Alright, so sorry about that little pause there. I have also a new yoke that I'm using. Finally have replaced my joystick with an actual yoke, which is nice, but there's obviously some button bindings that I have not yet fixed, so there we go. One thing slowly, slowly getting this ready here. Alright, so there we go. We got the clearance. It is the Ottawa 4 departure off runway 25 as expected, so we're pretty much ready for a quick takeoff briefing. So yeah, this will be a 57,000 pound flap 5 takeoff.
Good evening, was it 653 climbing through 16,000?
Oh, it's been a little while since I've done this, so my mind's a little rusty. So this will be a 57,000 pound flap 5 takeoff with no icing considerations. Takeoff power is, we're going to do normal takeoff power, 90% bleeds on. Speeds are V1 128, VR 128, V2 128, V fry 136, V climb 148. Level off altitude is 1380 feet ASL. For any master warning, engine fail, direction control issue, Brad V1. You or I will call abort. We'll stop the aircraft on the runway and deal with emergency. In the event of an engine fail after V1, it's considered an in-flight emergency with no immediate actions prior to 1380 except for raising the gear. At 1380 we will level off, accelerate to V fry, retract the flaps, and continue at V climb to 3,000 feet. Once established, the climb will act as emergency. In the event of an immediate return, we'll circle back to land again on runway 25 here in Ottawa. The Ottawa 4 departure off of runway 25 is climb heading 251 or as assigned, and non-jets maintain 3,000. And in the event of an engine failure, if you want off runway 25, we'll just fly runway heading again 251 all the way up to 3,000. And that's basically it. I've got no special considerations. One thing I did notice as I was doing the brief here, but I didn't want to interrupt my brief, is that I forgot to do the go around button there. So we're going to do go around, heading, alt cell, and then we're good to go. So now the bars are up. Unfortunately, it's a right turn on a 251, so I got to bring the heading bug around so that the bar is deflected to the right. Otherwise, it won't center when we line up on the runway. Alright, so now we're ready for an originating before start check here. So we're going to do external power APU. External power is on, recirc fan is on, emergency lights are armed, and the anti-skid is on. External check is complete. Gear pins, I should check them here. Gear pins are stowed. Alt gear door and landing gear inhibit switch closed and norm. JUP FD updates, flight deck preparation, everything's complete. So originating before start checklist is complete. And the before start check, circuit breakers. So we're going to say everything is in there. Yeah, looks good. Everything's good over there. Escape hatch is closed. Battery, master main, aux, standby are on. Seatbelts. I did fuel the airplane, so we can put the seatbelts on. Flight taxi should be at taxi. Yaw damper is on. And fuel quantity is 5,000 pounds, which is what we require. Emergency brake pressure is on and checked. Power levers are disc. Condition levers are fuel off. And the takeoff briefing is complete. The before start checklist is complete. And I just have to quickly do one thing, and then we'll be right back to fire this thing up. Looks like we got it with 5 minutes ready to go here. So be right back, and we'll get this flight going. Let's just make sure the doors are all closed. I never really simulated opening them today, so yep, they are all closed. And you can always confirm that as well by looking at the caution warning panel, and in the bottom right corner the fuselage doors light is out. Perfect. So we're a couple minutes early here. We're supposed to be out at 5 after, so but that's okay. We'll leave a couple minutes early. And actually, before we do that, we'll just leave a couple minutes early and we'll get on underway here. Alright, so everybody's ready for the pushback, so we'll do the start approved check. So start approved check, no steering. Is off, transponder is, we'll put it on alt here. Autowat's not usually an on alt kind of thing, but we'll leave it here. Doors and fueling lights again are out. APU bleed is off. And the anti-collision is going to red. The start approved check is complete. We call our ground crew and we ask him clear on 2. And he gives us a signal, so we go ahead and start 2. As soon as we receive some rotation there, we throw up condition lever 2 to start feather. And away goes the engine. And there's 50%, the starter centers. And if we go external power off, we should be on the electrical screen here now. And yep, generator's holding the load and charging the batteries. Alright, perfect. So we go ahead and give the guy the signal, disconnect the GPU. Thank you. And I might as well keep this up here because we're about to start the push. And before we do that, I'm just going to have a quick look behind the aircraft here. Make sure that everybody's happy. Nobody's taxiing behind the airplane. Perfect. We're clear to push at our discretion. So away we go. Alright, the GPU is gone. Alright. We're just going to do a straight back push here because that's what they do in Ottawa. They just push you straight back from the gate and let you turn on your own.
We are ready for pushback.
We are ready now. Please release parking brake.
Okay, parking brake coming off.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back now. You're clear to start the engine number 2.
Alright, if anybody's wondering, this is the FSIM Studios Ottawa scenery too. It's very nice. It's not the highest quality scenery in the world, but it's very nice representation of the Ottawa airport overall. It's pretty accurate, and haven't gotten the bridges to work yet with this airplane. I'm not sure if they actually work at this airport, but it's definitely a good representation of this airport. Alright, so we're definitely clear of the gate, so we're going to go ahead and start engine 1. Just clear on 1. He gives me the signal we're clear. Starting engine 1. And we got rotation, bring the condition lever 1 up, and it will add fuel at 15%. There it goes, and here comes the ITT up. And I'm also looking out the window for where we're going to do our, where we're going to stop our push. Alright, that's associated with the start. So we generally get pushed right back to the first taxi lane. Alright, that looks like a normal start, and that looks like the end of our push. I'm not sure if that clicked that time. Yeah, it did. Okay, perfect. So our push is over. Excellent.
Pushback complete. Please set the parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is coming on.
Parking brake set. Can we get clearance at number 1?
The tow is free and clear of nose gear. Clear to start the engine number 1. Have a nice flight.
Okay, so number 1 started, so we're going to go ahead and bring them out of start feather now. Up to max. And as they come online, here comes the AC generators. We're going to do our after start checklist. So it is winter. Not too many clouds out there right now, so I'm not going to worry about turning on any of the proper proper windshield heat at this point. Actually, I might turn on the windshield heat because I find this airplane does tend to fog up no matter what you do. Not 100% realistic. Alright, not the first flight of the day, so we're just going to do a normal rudder check here. And actually I have to wait until the FO positions the flaps to the first position, and then I can do a full rudder check. No steering can come on. And let's see here. And the weather radar's going to standby. Alright, the FO is going to do his job, so he's going to get the bleeds on. Flap 5, control locks off. Auto feather, tank aux pumps, high pumps. And we do the number 3 system as well. We do a quick check of the elevators and ailerons. Perfect. And we take the number 3 system back offline again. And that should kill that caution and warning light because it's only elevator press, which is caused when all systems are pressurized. Perfect. Alright. And then we do the after start checklist. After start checklist. Start select light. Let's see here is out. External power and APU are off. Bleed air 1 and 2 is min and on. Ice protection is standard plus the windshield. Caution and warning lights check. Battery temps and loads. And let's see here. So, yep, they're all fully charged. Temps are good. We're going to put that to MFD. Tank aux pumps 1 and 2 are on. Auto feather is AF select. Read it off the ED. Don't just look at the light. Read it. Make sure that the software is correctly armed. Engine rating is normal takeoff power. End top 90%. Standby high press P2 controller on. High press and quantity. Everything looks good. And height 3 and elevators are checked. Flight controls checked and free of the de-ice pressure. It checks. Flap is 5 set, and nope, for some reason it got set to 5, but it did not. There we go. I hit it again, and it seemed to go. 5 set and indicating condition levers are max. No steering is on. Radar navcom are set, and the PFD, MFD, ED are all checked. After our checklist is complete. All right, away we go. Auto ground Porter 224 ready for taxi.
Porter 224, runway 25, Foxtrot current, altimeter 3035. Taxi, Bravo, hold short, runway 25.
Okay, we're going to taxi Bravo and hold short of 25 for Porter 224. Thank you. All right. Ready to taxi. Let's try this out here. Alright, so you'll notice I'm moving the ailerons, and that's just because I have the Majestic setting where your tiller is linked to your ailerons, which is an excellent way to try and actually... Wow, this is actually much easier to taxi now that I have a proper yoke than before when I was trying to use a joystick. It's a lot nicer fidelity, nice range of motion, and the fact that I have a throttle quadrant as well is also makes it a little bit easier to sort of control the speed and fine-tune it. The hat switch is taking a little getting used to, though, as you can probably tell there. Lots of interesting things to get used to on this video today, but that's alright. It's all part of the learning process here. We're enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm getting pretty happy with the setup I've got going on here now, so... Alright, just make sure nobody's coming. Side windows are fogging up, so I'm going to put on the captain's side window heat as well to help defog that, just to make sure I can see when people are coming. We're going to just avoid that loader that's just parked on the line there. I'm not sure what he's doing. So we're just going to go around him. Wow, this does make trying to control this airplane a lot easier compared to using that joystick I was using before. It's almost laughable now. Alright, now that we're taxiing nicely and we're well clear of the apron, I should have the taxi light on for this. Alright. Going a little bit fast, I think. Alright, taxi check. So the taxi light now is on. Let's see here. Altimeters, I've got 30351, stay on the line. 2 and 3 set. I cross-checked. And the takeoff warning test. It is this one. 1, 2, 3. Nope, nothing. Good. We're pretty close to being on the center line. Still good. And the cabin, we'll say that the cabin did call and say they were secure, so we're good to go. Alright. Getting used to driving this thing with a proper yoke now. So this is obviously, it's winter. You can see the winter scenery here in Ottawa. It's not too bad. It looks pretty good. The only thing that's probably inaccurate about it is the fact that generally in the middle of winter, the mountains on snow in Ottawa are a lot taller than that. It's not just a dusting of snow on the ground. The amount of snow they get some years in Ottawa is ridiculous. You end up with 6, 8, 10-foot piles of snow on the edge of the taxiway. Obviously, nobody's going to be modeling that. I just find it funny. So that's the first thing I think about when I think winter in Ottawa as a pilot, is how much snow they get. Alright, so we're taxiing Bravo for full length departure runway 25. Just gotta get used to this. It's a little bit finicky. But it's, I find that certainly it's much easier to control the power. The power levers are fantastic using this. It's got a very large amount of amount of fine control here. Very fine control of the power levers, which lets you just sort of pick a speed you want to be at. 13 knots. Okay, so I'm taxiing a bit slow. I could probably taxi faster. It felt like we were taxiing pretty fast before. Alright, I'd say we're all ready to go here, so I'm going to go ahead and call. Let's just have a little look-see here. Oh, a little bit too much disk there. Ottawa Tower, Porter 224, ready for takeoff, runway 25.
Porter 224, winds indicating 240.03 knots, takeoff runway 25.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 25, Porter 224. Alright, so we're cleared for takeoff. Alright, so as we taxi onto the runway, we're going to switch the strobe from red to white. We were cleared to go, so I'm going to also grab the landing lights. And I'm going to wait until we're lined up on the runway here, I think. I'll pull out the lineup check. Not sure how well I'm going to be able to do it while I'm trying to taxi here, but we'll try it. FA notification, so cabin crew, please be seated for takeoff. Transponder is on alt. And TCAS is on. I feel the reaction. The sound is so nice on this Majestic that I feel that, like I can almost feel it when it goes into disc and the airplane starts just dragging backwards. Alright, finishing the checklist. MFDs are both radar right now, and you can probably go to terrain on my side here. There we go. And bleed air 1 and 2, spin and on, flight taxi is flight. Alright, we're ready to go. I'm just going to bring up my screens because it's a lot easier to control things when I have the screens up. Alright. And away we go. Haven't quite found the D10 position yet. Need a little bit of rudder control. And there's V1, there's rotate. Trying to get used to using this new yoke here. Alright, there's definitely positive rate. Gear up. Much easier to control than the joystick, that's for sure, except for that takeoff roll where I don't have rudder pedals yet. And I did have to use the joystick a little bit for rudder control. Alright, there's 1380, so flaps 0. That worked. Yep, bleeds on. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Bleeds are on. I might need a little bit more trim here. And climb power. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look what, you look away for a second there and look where it goes. Alright. And let's get the autopilot on helping us out here. Ugh, need an FO to help me out here. Alright, let's get that power back. Alright, it's already in alt mode. Toronto Center, Porter 224 is 2,500 climbing 3,000. Let's get it climbing again here.
Porter 224, you are redirected. Climb 7,000, speed direct. Not long, of course.
Alright, climb, I believe you said 7,000 and direct Aplov on course, Porter 224. Alright, so there's
Porter 241.
7,000 feet, and we're going to go direct to Aplov. Alright, so hopefully you didn't think my takeoff was too bad there. I really need an FO here. Alright, direct to Aplov, and we get nav mode on there. LNAV Aplov, and away it goes. Look away for 1 second and the airplane starts diving towards the ground. Oh man. Wow. But now that we're up in the air, we should do the after takeoff checklist, but I just want to have a quick look around at these clouds. And there's not even that many of them, but there's just, between the fog, the uneven textures, it looks so good. Even I had active sky cloud art before, and it just looks so much nicer even now. Alright, so we're gonna just center that rudder trim a little bit there. Look down in the airplane, center the rudder trim. Beautiful. Alright, so after takeoff checklist, I'll start with a flow. Turn off the auto feather, the fuel pumps, and the hydraulic pumps, and then we read the after takeoff checklist. If I can find it, there it is. After takeoff checklist, landing gears up, flaps 0.
Descend. Crossing. Descend.
Alright.
Porter 224, climb flight level 220.
And standby Porter 224 TCAS resolution alert.
Descend. Descend now.
Alright, without overspeeding.
Increase
Porter
descent.
224, traffic is indicating at level at 8,000.
Clear of conflict.
Okay, Porter 224 TCAS alert is over, and you said the climb flight level 220, I believe?
Porter 224, correct? Climb flight level 220.
Okay, climb flight level 220, Porter 224. There you go, interesting.
Toronto Center, hello.
And we can probably re-engage the autopilot now.
8,200.
There we go. Alright, so flight level 220 set, we're back into pitch hole climb, alt cell, and yeah. And we'll pitch about 6 degrees. That was interesting.
Good evening. Climb flight level.
I have never had a TCAS resolution, or a TCAS RA in any of my flight simulation software actually go off to date, so that was kind of interesting. Okay, I think I was reading the after takeoff checklist. Alright, let's start again. After takeoff checklist, landing gear is up, flaps 0. Climb power is set, MCL, bleed air 1 and 2, we've got to norm and on. Auto feather is off, tank aux pumps are off. Standby height, press P2 control are norm. Engine temps and pressures are, let's just have a look. Everything looks green. Don't have the power quite in the detent there. I'm trying to figure out where the detent is because I've got my throttle, my yoke configured to have over travel, so it's not quite all the way forward to get to the takeoff power detent. Alright, I noticed it said ice detected, so we're going to go ahead and put on all the ice protection, which was the next thing on the checklist anyways, pretty much. Okay, we were at, yeah, ice protection was exactly the next thing. Ice protection is now all on. Cabin press and temp controls, everything is, we've got a differential building, cabin's climbing, perfect, and FA notification chime. We'll go ahead and chime our FAs. Chances are they would ask what the heck I'm doing up here in the front with my flying. Wow. I just want to take a moment, and even before I do these 10,000 foot checks here, and just look at these clouds. I had active sky cloud art, and for some reason, like, they just look softer. They look like I could almost reach out and just put my hand right through them. Certainly fly the airplane right through them. They look soft. They look absolutely beautiful. Here we are, just flying right past the edge of a cloud, and it just sort of we just fade in and out of the edge of the cloud a little bit there. I feel like we are flying right through that cloud. The smoke effect that they used to create it, it does such a nice job. It looks like you're out there flying in the sky. Okay, so we went through 10,000. Lights are going off. Pressurization is checked for 4 to 4, and seatbelts we're going to take off for now. After takeoff checklist is complete. Wow. And the variety of clouds I find here too is just fantastic as well as you're climbing out here. They look different, they look unique. The color of the sky, just everything combined together, it all looks so good now. So I might take a moment here while we're doing our climb out here. I'm just going to take a nice little gratuitous external screenshot as the turbulence keeps bumping us around these clouds here. Look at that. It looks so good, and it's bumping us around a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the seatbelts off as this airplane tries to keep us on course here. Hopefully when we get above this cloud deck it'll be a little smoother here. I'm about to put the seatbelts back on. I should have left them on. That's hilarious. Alright, seatbelts back on. That's it. You guys can all sit down for now. Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to show you just a little bit of what the active sky control panel looks like. So, here's the home screen anyways, which just shows you some METARs and everything. The biggest thing is weather control itself, so I'm flying in live weather mode right now. I've got it set to pick up weather off the VATSIM network. You can set it for VATSIM or for the active sky network, and it adds more from the active sky network as well. So it's updating basically live to whatever is out there right now. Or another neat feature is you can switch to historical weather, pick any date you like in history. In the last 2 years is what they have an archive of, and you can anytime in the last 2 years, and you can fly that particular weather pattern. Or you can switch to custom, and you can just add custom weather areas, and I'll show you that as well in a minute here. So I noticed a little change there. When you switch between different modes, you try to add stuff custom, it gets jumpy. If you don't do this, you just leave it as active, it makes all the changes nice and smooth and transition so nicely you don't even notice when you've flown from one area to another. So the map will show you your flight plan, so it's important to put in a flight plan in active sky. It doesn't have to be very complicated, but altitude, destination, and origin at the very least, and then what it'll do is it'll make sure that when you're at those areas that the weather is very accurate for your departure and your destination point. And it'll also of course show it on the nice map here. And the map has all sorts of overlays, so it's got an overlay of all the traffic that's flying around me. I've got some P3d traffic, and I'm online on VATSIM, so some of it's VATSIM traffic as well. You can throw clouds on there, so you can see where the cloud decks are. You can throw the precip on there if there is any around. Stations, wind, you can get some winds at various altitudes. Visibility, so you can find areas of lower visibility. And what you can also do is click on the map and you can insert weather anywhere. So add new custom weather area. You can either manually set stuff up, or you can just simply set a METAR and have stuff and have the weather sort of basically set in that area by your METAR. So I'm going to do it the easy way and just set a METAR here. I'm not going to play with it too much. You can adjust all sorts of stuff. And then you can set a diameter. And then it gives us a summary. And then what we end up with is a weather area. So we now have a 100-mile radius around the point that I clicked where we have different weather. Now because I'm messing with the weather, you can see if you looked outside, I don't know if you'll notice in the background there as I was doing this, but the weather, the clouds changed. What's really neat too, and something that's different I think from what other systems, the basic weather system does, let's just have a quick look here. We're through. We need to go to standard. And we're going to go, just got to dial this down manually because the standard button, for whatever reason, you can never see it for the ISI, for the standby instrument. So there it is. But you'll notice, and maybe if I do an external shot, you'll notice that over behind us is broken clouds, over in front of us is a solid cloud deck. So that cloud deck that I specified of overcast 3,000 feet for a 100-mile circle, 100-mile radius circle, there's the edge of it. So we're just flying into it. On the other side of it, however, it's a broken cloud deck, so it looks very realistic. The weather changes. There's boundaries to the weather. That's how it looks in real life sometimes. Sometimes it's very gentle and slowly and subtle, and sometimes there are like fronts. You can see the fronts. You can see where the weather changes. I'm amazed by this. I picked it up on sale. I'll be honest, I picked it up on sale. Worth every penny I paid for it in terms of how nice this makes the sim look now. There's my tone for 210 climbing 220 alt star. We're about to level off, but it looks so good. So I might go back and delete this weather area because I like the live weather, but I could do all sorts of things. You can add all sorts of things, and it takes into so much information in here. It takes in not just METARs, but it also takes in SIGMETs and AirMets published in the real world. There's alt, we're level at 220. So it takes things that are, it takes real world information, it takes real world SIGMETs, and will plot turbulence in your sim based on what's reported. Again, what's with the traffic? I'm getting annoyed with this here.
Descend. Crossing. Descend.
Okay, I'm going to ignore this one. Now I shouldn't. I see him. But that is weird how that's the second time. That's 2,000 feet and we're both level. It should not be a TCAS alert. There might be a TCAS flaw, and I thought I updated this. I'm pretty sure I updated my software to reflect the new one, the new Majestic update.
Clear of conflict.
It's clear of conflict. Thank you. All right. So let's have a quick look-see here. So we're flying, our next restriction is due sub at 14. So let's have a quick look and see how long before we've got to start down and get to due sub at 14. Just so I don't start talking way through our descent and everything. We got 18 minutes here in cruise, not too bad. We got a little bit of time. Not a whole lot though. Alright, so looks like the icing conditions are gone, so we're going to go ahead and turn off the ice protection. We'll leave the props and the windshield heat on. But I'm just debating whether or not to move that overcast layer as we fly over it. I might, and you can edit it afterwards. You can remove it, you can copy and paste it so you can create a whole wider area perhaps for different shapes. So they start out as circles, but you can obviously combine them to make different circles. What I might just do is just make it smaller. Let's make it 40-mile radius instead. Might look a little weird. It might make it jump a little bit here, but yeah, there's the jump. So there's that 40-mile radius overcast cloud. Over here, it goes back to the default of what we were doing before. So one thing you do, of course, when you do start customizing it is, of course, then you take it out of live mode. It's no longer in live mode. It's now custom weather mode. But if I just want to switch back to live, I just have to click one button and that's it. You can easily see the conditions at your present location, the winds, surface winds, upper winds, everything. It's really quite nicely done. The map, there's lots of neat controls. You can switch the track up so you can get like a radar style view. I'm not on the track because I'm not flying the direct line. I'm flying my flight plan route. You can lock it to the airplane. Of course, we can zoom in and out to see various things, airports and whatnot. Anywho, I'm going to start planning for the arrival into Toronto here. Not sure if I have a... Alright, so before I start the setting up for the approach into Toronto, I'm just going to cut the video right there and split it in two so that you don't end up with one really long video. Two slightly easier, shorter to watch videos. But I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. I've enjoyed it. I really like an active sky so far, and I am enjoying my new yoke. Sorry the flying was a little bit bad at first. I got to get used to this new yoke. It's basically my first flight. I'm sure once I get a few more hours into it, get a little bit used to how it handles and how the flight simulator handles it, it'll get a little bit better. So, but I encourage you to watch part 2. I'll have it out there shortly, and thank you very much for watching, YouTube. We'll see you again next time.